New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Well, it's good to see everyone this evening from across the United States and around the world. It is time once again for another fun-filled, thrill-packed, and guaranteed, always exciting edition of the Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. I am Pastor Michael Mangus. I am broadcasting this evening from the super secret radio room, surrounded by thousands, and I mean thousands of watts, in the secure concrete bunker somewhere around Akron, Ohio, and only two people know. The first one is my producer, Diego, and the second one is the Reverend Dr. Charlette Manning, who will be our guest this evening. So only those two people. Now, Robert has sent private investigators. He has sent the radio tracking equipment up and down the streets trying to find me in my super secret radio room. And he has yet to find me in my super secret, very, very secure concrete bunker. And I'm not going to tell him either. Hey, listen, we have a great show for you tonight. If you could please comment on either Facebook, or if you have access to StreamYard, please, we would love to have your comments this evening. And again, for all of the shy people out there, we know you're out there. Please go to pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. And after the show, during the week, I usually read those emails. And again, thank you so very much for communicating with me. We really appreciate that. So the purpose of our fireside chat here, as I say each and every week, is to have that loving conversation about contemporary issues from a new thought perspective. And again, I keep saying this over and over again. I want us all to have a new thought about what is going on around us, not only here in the United States, but also globally. And again, you don't have to agree with me here. Now, Diego, again, he plays the disclaimer weekly. He likes doing that. And we play it mostly for comedic value. But there's a serious part of that too. These are my views. These are my opinions. No one else's here. And I want us all to deeply think about what is going on in the world, and because of this concept that we call oneness, what is our part to bringing about, again, a world that works for everyone? So my special guest this evening is the most requested one that our viewers ask for. They're always bugging me saying, when are you going to have Dr. Charlette back on your show? Well, tonight is one of those nights best-selling Amazon author, lecturer, and minister. More importantly, my good friend, the Reverend Dr. Charlette Manning from Washington, D.C., will be on during the second half of our program this evening. Dr. Manning will soon premiere her new program here on the New Thought Media Network on Sunday evenings called the Sunday Evening Masterclass. And again, we'll be hearing from my good friend, Reverend Dr. Charlette Manning, in the second half of our program. Well, you're probably wondering why I have this lanyard on this evening. This week, I had the privilege of being on the announce team for the 83rd running of the All-American Soapbox Derby. Let me show you my badge here as I palm my microphone. There you go. You have to have your badge to get up to the third floor of the bridge. But I was track announcing this week. That was fun. From Wikipedia, in 1933, Myron Scott, a photographer for Dayton, Ohio newspaper, the Dayton Daily News, he saw Robert A. Gravitt and friends racing down a hill in Dayton, Ohio, and put together an impromptu race for 19 boys. There was so much interest that Scott arranged a bigger race with prize money on August 19th that year. An amazing crowd of 362 kids showed up with homemade cars built of orange crates, sheet tin, wagons, and baby buggy wheels. How about that? The following year, the first All-American race was held on August 19th, 1934. The first winner was Robert Turner of Muncie, Indiana, who made his car from the wood of a saloon bar. How about that? In 1935, the race moved from Dayton to Akron because of its central location and hilly terrain. An accident in 1935 captured the public interest and boosted the event's profile. Get this. And this happened not at Derby Downs. This happened on a road that I quite frequent. It's called Talmadge Avenue. And Talmadge Avenue has this huge hill. They have a series of hills going down. And a car went off the track and struck NBC's top commentator and sportscaster Graham McNamee while he was broadcasting live on the air, despite a concussion and other injuries, which resulted in a 2-week hospital stay. McNamee described the collision to his listeners and finished the broadcast. You're taught that in broadcasting school. The show must go on. Anyhow, in 1936, Akron civic leaders recognized the need for a permanent safe track site for the Youth Racing Classic, and it was through the efforts of the WPA, the Works Progress Administration, Derby Downs became a reality. During the All-American Soapbox Derby's heyday of the 1950s and 60s, when Chevrolet was a sponsor, and they had famous TV and movie stars make guest appearances, and as many as 70,000 people gathered in August to eat snow cones and cheer hundreds of youthful racer builders. Boys only in the early years. Sorry about that. The girls came a little later, ages 11 through 15, who were champions of local races from across the nation and also several foreign countries. And at its peak, the Derby was one of the top 5 sporting events in terms of attendance. Not today, though. It says John DeLorean, remember that name? John DeLorean. He ended the 35-year Chevrolet sponsorship in 1972, claiming that the Derby was outdated and too expensive to hold. And starting in 1993, the All-American Soapbox Derby began the Rally World Championship. And the Rally Derby is a Grand Prix style of racing in which each district sends back a number of champions based on the number of races and races in each district. And today there are broader categories that extend the age range to younger racers and permits adults to assist in construction. These young people are from ages 7 through 20. These kids are amazing racers coming down that track. Anyhow, there's 3 classes that they usually race. It's stock, that's for the younger kids, super stock, which is a more advanced construction, and then they have what's called the Masters Division. Anyhow, this is especially helpful for younger children who cannot use power tools, as well as to provide an outlet for an adults. Again, best wishes to all the champs and their families in town for the 83rd running of the greatest amateur racing event in all the world, the All-American Soapbox Derby, to be held tomorrow at the historic and much improved Derby Downs. For more information, please go to soapboxderby.org, soapboxderby.org. If you go on their Facebook page, International Soapbox Derby, you will see pictures and also a little video footage of yours truly up on the bridge doing the announcing. So that's International Soapbox Derby page on Facebook. We get into the news this evening, and probably this is the last time that we'll be mentioning this story, but the agonizing wait for the families of the presumed last missing Surfside victims continue. Authorities have identified 97 victims in the Surfside condo building collapse, including 96 who were recovered from the collapse site and one who died in the hospital, Miami-Dade County officials said on Wednesday. Officials say that they believe that one victim is not yet identified. A news release says that 97 missing person reports were opened with local police. Now, nearly a month since the Champlain Towers South partially collapsed, the site is now mostly cleared. If you go on CNN and other news sites, you'll see that. And the debris has been relocated to a different site. Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Cava said in a statement. On Saturday, it will be 1 month since the condo collapse, and the families of Estelle Hidea tells CNN that she is the final victims that authorities have yet to find and identify. The tough part is seeing my parents like this day after day, her brother said. I just want my sister to be at peace and get the honor and respect that she deserves. So this family has no closure yet. And one of the reasons why they've taken all the materials to another site is for forensic examination by engineers, so that something like this does not happen again. Again, authorities have identified 97 victims, including 96 who were recovered by and from the collapse site, and one who died in the hospital. Her sister said this. She says, I firmly believe that God helped her to get to her best point in life and then decided best for her to go out on top. My one regret is that I never told her how much I respected her and how much I admired how she kept improving no matter what life threw at her. I just never thought that there would be a day I would be here and she wouldn't. Again, our thoughts and prayers are with the families and friends who have lost loved ones. And from the state of Ohio, we saw the return last week of the Ohio Search and Rescue #1 squad, who was the same squad that was sent to the World Trade Center 20 years ago. Again, our prayers for peace and comfort are with the survivors, families, and also the first responders. Everyone gets affected. Everyone gets affected. Families, friends, and the first responders. Again, like I've said, if there's anything that we can do here at the New Thought Media Network, again, please contact us at info@ntmedia.org or prayer@ntmedia.org. We are here for you, and we are here for you even after all the relatives are gone. Everyone is trying to go back to their life as normal. We're here for you. The Tokyo Olympics open this week in Japan. Are you going to watch it? I know people in my house like to watch the Olympics, so it'll be interesting to see what they watch. This story kind of interested me, though. It says the Olympic greats call on the IOC to allow podium protests, and they had a very iconic picture of the 1968 Olympic medalist Tommy Smith and John Carlos, pictured with their fist raised in the Black Power salute. These are among individuals who have signed a letter to the International Olympic Committee to allow athletes the fundamental human right to protest, including at the podium. As the Tokyo Games opened, those who signed it, including U.S. hammer thrower Gwen Berry, she was the person who went ahead and did not turn towards the flag when the national anthem was played during the Olympic trials, has urged the IOC to refrain from sanctioning athletes who demonstrate. The letter calls for the removal of the IOC Rule 50, which prohibits athletes from protesting at Olympic sites. Following a 10-month review of the rule that concluded in April, the IOC decided to uphold it, but in July added an amendment allowing athletes to express their views in mixed zones, press conferences, and also during interviews, as well as prior to the start of the competition. The IOC has said that the rule aims to ensure the focus at the Olympic Games remains on athletic performance. U.S. athlete Gwen Berry, who received a lot of heat in the press, who turned away from the national flag at the June track and field trials, also signed the letter. The letter also acknowledged the amendment, named Rule 50.2, as a signal that the IOC is open to continue engagement, but it claims that the changes do not reflect a commitment to freedom of expression as a fundamental human right, nor to racial and social justice in global sport. Berry, who is slated to begin her Olympic competition on July 31st, tweeted in her support of the petition on Thursday, saying that we need to take a stand. Speaking to the Guardian newspaper in the UK on Thursday, British sprinter Deanna Asher-Smith also called on the IOC to remove the ban, saying that protesting and expressing yourself is also a fundamental right. Responding to the letter in a statement on Friday, the IOC reiterated its position and says it has worked with 3,500 athletes to design the current amended rules. Rule 50.2 provides a framework to protect the neutrality of sport and the Olympic Games, a spokesperson said in a statement. While asking for more opportunities for athletic expression during the Olympic Games, global athletes representing and expressing their support for keeping the podium, the field of play, and the ceremonies free from any form of protest. So what do you think? What do you think about all of this? Should athletes be able to protest by not facing the flag of their country while their national anthem is played? All right, so I'm going to give a view and opinion here. These nonviolent protests, I believe, should be allowed because it brings up the fact that all is not well in their country. And all of you who get upset when athletes don't stand or face the flag of their country, like NFL player Colin Kaepernick and also U.S. athlete Gwen Berry, my question is this: what are you doing? What are you doing to solve the many social issues that plague many people with black and brown skin? What are you doing? Yes, these protests are open displaying that all is not well here in the United States. And yes, there are many great benefits to living here. For example, we have the freedom to protest peacefully and also the freedom to worship God or even not in any way that we wish, as long as it doesn't violate the rights of other people. Why do you think that so many people are trying to get to this country, the United States? I know that we're broadcast globally, but I'm talking about my country here. Why do you think that so many are trying to get here and immigrate here, either legally or illegally? My question is this: are we willing as a country to finally heal racism in all of its forms? Are we really, truly willing in this land of the free and home of the brave to let everyone be truly free, no matter what their sex, creed, color, or sexual orientation is? How do you want people to show their dissatisfaction? Do you want violently, or do you want it non-violently? And again, the individuals that went ahead and complained about the Black Lives Matter protest last summer are also the ones who also complained about Colin Kaepernick when he took a knee during the national anthem, a non-violent protest. Also, for the record here, the vandalism from last summer was caused by a small group of anarchists who were white, or mostly white. We have many social, economic, and spiritual issues to deal with here in the United States and elsewhere. When are we going to start addressing the issues that have prompted these protests in the first place? Something to think about here. Well, hello there. Good evening. Welcome. This is a Friday evening fireside chat here on the New Thought Media Network. Pastor Michael Mangus with you. One story that I wanted to get to tonight, and I mentioned this earlier to the Reverend Dr. Charlette Manning. I saw this on CBS News, and it was one. I'm eating my breakfast, okay? And this is one that you go ahead and you read it and you want to spit out your cornflakes. COVID patient in Louisiana says that he'd opt for hospitalization again over the vaccine. If you don't believe this story, go on the CBS News website and read this. I'm going to read portions of it, though. It says a growing number of Republicans are encouraging Americans to get vaccinated despite misinformation spread by right-wing commentators. Louisiana Congressman Steve Scalise, who is the number 2 House Republican, announced yesterday that he has received his first Pfizer shot, telling NOLA or NOLA.com that the vaccines are safe and effective. Louisiana's private hospital, Our Lady of the Lake Medical Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, has more COVID patients right now than any other hospital in the state. They've admitted 23 patients in 24 hours over the weekend and filled up an entire floor on the hospital with just those patients. So CBS News did this. They sent their national lead correspondent, David Begnault, and he was given access to this ward. Paula Johnson told Begnault, he says, I honest to God thought I was walking my last day on earth. I could not breathe. I just, all of a sudden, my lungs did not work. I never had a lung problem. I don't smoke, none of that. And it took my lungs and just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like trying to breathe in and hitting a wall like in a second. Now get this. Paula Johnson is a pharmaceutical researcher who put off getting the vaccine, and now she wants it. She said this. She says, I say, get the vaccine, take the chance. It can't hurt. All it can do is alleviate some of the symptoms. Even if it doesn't keep you from getting it, it will at least keep you from dying. Roughly 1 in 3 individuals in the state of Louisiana are fully vaccinated. And this week, the state's health department reported the highest number of COVID-19 hospitalizations since late February. Scott Rowe is one of this. Now, on CBS News, they had a picture of Mr. Rowe, who is in his hospital bed, hooked up to oxygen tubes going in his nose. And he's saying this. Here I am recovering, getting out of here finally tomorrow. Am I going to get a vaccine? No, said Rowe, because he says there's too many issues with these vaccines. This father, former baseball coach, small business owner, and hunter caught COVID and then developed pneumonia. Before you got sick, CBS reporter Begnault asked Rowe, if you would have had a chance to get the vaccine and prevent this, would you have taken the vaccine? This is what he said. He said, no. I would have gone through this. Yes, sir. Don't shove it down my throat. That's what local, state, federal administration is trying to do. It's trying to shove it down your throat. So the CBS reporter was nice. He said, well, what are they shoving? The science? No, they're shoving the fact that it's their agenda, Rose said. Their agenda is to get you vaccinated. Well, do you know who Mr. Scalise is? The CBS reporter asked. I know who Steve Scalise is very well. Now, Rowe, who is a Republican, and again, I really don't like mentioning about party about this, but again, this is what the story says. He says, Rowe, who is a Republican, had not heard that Congressman Scalise had stepped into the forefront on Tuesday as a vaccine proponent. Bignall asked him to read the congressman's statement. He thinks that it is safe and effective, Rose said. And what is your reaction? The CBS reporter asked. Rose said this. He says, it's not proven. But does his opinion change yours? Rose said this. No, it does not. Dr. Catherine O'Neill, who is the chief medical officer at Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center, did not mince words. She said this: we are either going to get vaccinated and end the pandemic, or we're going to accept death. We are a proud state here in Louisiana. We are a state full of grit. So if you're pro-vax, you're going to tell everyone. If you're not, then you're going to do the same thing. So how do we help find something that helps them come to understand that your community is going to die? All right, I've said this over and over again. I'm supporting you to get vaccinated. I'm not telling you. The reasons given for not getting vaccinated are based in pure fear and not fact. And as Gayle King said this morning during CBS This Morning, getting vaccinated is a personal choice. However, your choice of not getting vaccinated could get a lot of people killed because you will infect the people that you love around you. My question to you is this: is this what love does? Again, it reminds me of a story of the person whose house was going to get flooded. The police came by and told him to leave his house because the flood was coming. And he said, well, God will save me. And then when the waters flooded out his first floor, a rescue boat came by and told him to get in. And he replied back. He said, no, God will save me. Finally, the waters came to the second floor, and the man found himself on the rooftop, and a helicopter came by. And the pilot said, get in. And he said, oh, no. He said, God will save me. Finally, the man died. And he met St. Pete at the pearly gates. And he asked St. Peter, where was God when he needed rescue? St. Pete replied back, we sent a person to warn you. We sent a boat to rescue you and a helicopter to get you off the rooftop. And you ignored all of them. The vaccine has been proven safe and effective. I have read the science. They had trials even before the emergency declaration was given to allow the vaccines to the public. The technology, this mRNA technology, they've been working on for 10 years. For a time like this. The only thing missing here is the final approval of the FDA, which, from the news reports, will be given to the Pfizer vaccine by the end of the year. Now, who is getting infected? I'm waiting. Who is getting infected here? And if you said the unvaccinated, you are right. Not getting the vaccine is like the man in the floodwaters. Many have died in ICUs with COVID and denied it until their very last breath. The moral of the story is this: unless you've been told by your doctor not to get vaccinated, please go do it. God has given us a way out of this. Let us take the lifeboat out of this pandemic. Well, good evening. If you've wondered what you've stumbled onto, this is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. I am Pastor Michael Mangus. Soon and very soon, we will have on the Reverend Dr. Charlette Manning, my friend, who is going to have her own show here on the New Thought Media Network on Sunday evenings very, very soon. Yours truly is parking himself here at Summit CSL. For more information, go to summitcsl.org. There you will find all kinds of information about our wonderful Sunday gathering online at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time. Yes, to my West Coast friends, people do get up at that time of day on Sunday mornings. So grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso, your chai, your boba tea, and please join us. I do believe that we have one of the best services in New Thought. And this Sunday, we will continue our series on the spiritual quality of power with a wonderful speaker and longtime Science of Mind student, Dr. Dina Hanley. So please go to summitcsl.org for more information on how to join our Zoom call. You are allowed to join our Zoom call, by the way. And our service is also simulcast on the Summit Spiritual Center of Akron Facebook page. And our Facebook page also has past broadcasts of the world famous and ever popular Fireside Chat and yours truly when he's doing prayer here on the New Thought Media Network, which is usually in the evenings. I'm currently open for individual practitioner sessions, Sunday speaking, and also ceremonies. So please email me at pastormichaelmangus at gmail.com for more information. Again, if you want to find out our schedule, the schedule sheets that I get from Reverend Robert every single week. Again, I got another 8 sheets this week. Just go on our website, ntmedia.org. There you will find our complete schedule. We are currently updating it right now. But also consider to go to the donate page. We are doing an extremely important work. One of the criticisms of New Thought over the years, our centers and churches, has been that we have not used effectively media. Here we have the opportunity here through the gift of technology to take this powerful message to the world. And we can do that. So we ask for your help here. When you give, you get that double blessing, that blessing of giving and also that blessing of knowing that you affect individuals through this life-changing teaching. So go on ntmedia.org/donate, find out more. Again, this is exciting. Of all the things that we're doing here, again, to really affect the world. So thank you for your support. We'll be right back with the Reverend Dr. Charlette Manning. You are watching the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience? Or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
And it is really my honor to have back on my longtime friend, best-selling Amazon author, workshop presenter, minister, and long-haul truck driver who has driven through the mountains of Pennsylvania on the turnpike to come and visit my community. Here she is, my good friend, the Reverend Dr. Charlette Manning.
Hey, how's everybody?
Oh,
So glad to be here with you tonight.
well, thank you. Thank you for being on this evening.
Absolutely.
So we talked about that story earlier about that man down in Louisiana. And I am still this afternoon and this evening still cleaning up the cornflakes all over my wall after I read that.
Yeah,
Your voice
I
and opinion.
yeah, I was chomping at the bit to get on here with that because, for a couple things. Number one, you preaching to the choir, brother. Those of us that are listening to this know we have common sense. And I think it was Dr. Barbara King or Maya Angelou, or one of those thought evocateurs that said, common sense just ain't common anymore. And I think Governor Kay Ivey said it best today. You think people have common sense. You shouldn't have to tell anybody to do what is logical and reasonable and what would serve their families, not just themselves, but their families as well. But, I think I was watching one of the news programs and they said that there are three categories of people that are not getting the shot. Number one, the ones that are too young to get it, the ones that are anti-vaxxers, that no matter what you say or what you do, you're not going to convince them to get it. And I mean, you have seen people who are taking their last breaths and still insist they have the flu. Okay, so those people are just not going to be convinced. And the third group of people are the people that don't have access. They either don't have the time or the resource or the whatever. So we need to focus on those that want to have that done. Now, I have to honestly say, until this pandemic, I had never had a flu shot. I had never had any of those other than the childhood shots that I had, measles and that kind of thing. I hadn't had any of those vaccines, but I'm 70 years old now. So I don't have the constitution of a 20 or 30 or recovery ability as a 20 or 30 or even a 40-year-old. However, what I do know is I do have common sense, and common sense tells me, and this started in the beginning of this whole experience. People were walking out in the street. I walk every morning and I would see families on the street with not wearing a mask and all this other stuff. I mean, a husband and a wife and two children walking along the street without a mask or any of this other stuff. And I thought to myself, they got to be out of their damn mind, excuse me. But I said, they must be crazy. And then
don't bleep that.
Yeah.
Don't bleep that. Thank you.
And then I said to myself, no, it's not. What they do is up to them. I'm going to do what I need to do to protect myself and those people that I care about. And I was listening to Brene Brown yesterday, and she was talking about vulnerability. And, there are some things that I absolutely have to listen to every day to keep myself in that mental framework of creativity, and not to get caught up in a lot of the negativity that's going on in the work, because the denseness of that negativity, I mean, we can feel that negativity when you walk out your house. Okay, so, and one of the things that she said in there is that pain, we don't want to embrace our pain. It's easier to cause pain than it is to feel pain. So if I can hurt you, then I minimize the hurt that I'm doing to myself. Does that make sense? So when we're going through all of these things, you need someone to either validate or invalidate what it is you think or you feel. I know a lot of young people that say, I'm not getting that shot and all of that. I'm not going to waste my time or my energy. It's like when you are arguing about religion to people, and Catholics believe they the ones, and the AMEs believe they the ones, and the Baptists think they the one. There's only one power and one force in the universe. And I don't care if you call it God, if you call it Buddha, Krishna, Yahweh, Mickey Mouse. It doesn't matter.
Donald Duck too. You forgot
Donald Duck. Well, look, Jimmy the Cricket. Jimmy the Cricket was a wise little cricket, and he said, "When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Everything your heart desires will come to you." Now, think about that for a moment. That's how powerful your thinking is. Now, when you want to think from a negative force, guess what? You're sucking in that darkness, and that darkness has to find some place to reside in your body. So I'm gonna waste my time and my energy on trying to convince somebody who is only going to tick me off. And I don't want to say the word tick, but I don't want you to have to bleep me 2 times in one show.
Thank you.
Okay, but it is. Why waste your time? Be the example. Jesus said, "Don't brag about my work. Don't go out telling people about the miracles I'm doing, and all. Let my work be an example of who I am." I had someone stop me and say, you don't have to wear a mask in here. I said, "You're not wearing a mask because that's your choice. I'm wearing one because that's my choice. And I've had my vaccine, but I don't know who's vaccinated and who isn't. I'm protecting this 70-year-old body who I intend to keep for 30 more years walking this planet. And so I need to do those things that uplift me. So I'm not going to go out and cause pain to other people. And I'm not going to engage in a futile discussion with people that are they're not into it.
If you wonder what you stumbled onto this evening, this is a Friday evening fireside chat here on the New Thought Media Network. Pastor Michael Mangus with my good friend and best-selling Amazon author, that is the Reverend Dr. Charlette Manning. I just want to, with that, you got to face the product here. Show it again. Show the product again. There you go. Forgive. And she's writing another book too. I wanted to clear up something though, and it just, the reason that I spit my cornflakes out, and the reason I mention it is because that yes, I may be preaching to the choir, but there's some choir members that, and you're right, as far as, they're just not going to, just because I say it, but I want it out there that, especially among spiritual people, I have noticed this too. I've had people come up to me and say, well, we're not doing the politically correct thing. We're not getting vaccinated. Okay. I think they tell me because that they're trying to get either, they want a reaction out of me. And that I really think that a lot of there seems to be a cognitive dissonance that happens between, like, for example, like with that gentleman down in Louisiana. First of all, I want that man to live. because I know he has a family. I know he has a wife that cares about him. He probably has people in his community that are praying for him. It seems to be such a disconnect, though, between it's okay that he's in the hospital and they're administering things to him, including antibiotics, but tell him to go ahead and get a vaccine that could have saved him from being on oxygen. It's just that, again, it just baffles me.
I agree with you.
And my thought about here we have, again, like the story I said with the man with the flood. He said, well, God will save me. God will save me. Well, we have a God-saving liquid that, when administered in the right way, will not only save your life, but also save other people's lives and get rid of this COVID.
Well, let me tell you what my mama told me when I was a little girl. She said, don't touch that stove. It's hot. Really? She said, I said, don't touch that stove. It's hot. As soon as my mother walked out that kitchen, what did I do? I touched that stove. Now, all I had to do was touch that stove one time. The next time, I knew better. So Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. Okay? Why do you think Scalise decided to get the vaccine? He didn't get the vaccine because he heard your wonderful words. He didn't get that vaccine. Someone in his close-knit family or around him has been affected. Sean Hannity, why do you think he's all of a sudden, although he's kind of backstroking on what he said, but why do you think that he did that? This Delta variant.
Money.
Well, I believe it has had some impact. No, his backstroking away from it is about the money. The truth is someone has been affected by this. And unfortunately, and I think there have been several people that made this announcement, but that they decided to get it because it affected someone and they wish they had done it in the first place and yada, yada, yada. And I don't mean to minimize any of that. From what I gather from what this dis-ease does, it says like you take a breath and it's like you hit the wall, that you can't even get a full breath. And with the exception of dying from fire, being burned to death, suffocation is the worst way to lose your life. And unfortunately, there are those that have to get close to that point to understand that. All I have to know is the stove is hot. And if somebody that loves me and cares about me says to me, that's why I'm saying, when I say to you, you're preaching to the choir, because those of us that listen to you and follow you and do these things with you and for you is because we love you and we believe in the work that you do. And conversely, same thing with me. If you ask me to do something, or if you tell me to do something, 99.9%, I can take that to the bank. I know you're not going to do anything to hurt, harm, or endanger me. All right. So I think now that group of people that I was talking about initially, those are the people that we need to focus our time, energy, and attention on. And those people that don't have access, or those people that are seeing the error of their ways now and making a difference. And by the way, to come from a loving, spiritual, embracing point, we can't be judgmental. And as difficult as it is, because I really do believe we are in biblical times right now, and that we need to see the light of God that surrounds us, the love of God that enfolds us, the power of God that protects us, the presence of God that watches over us. We need to be embracing that energetic high ground, if you will. Because Wayne Dyer said there's plenty of room on the extra mile because few people choose to take it. you
Right.
know, and we want to be able to be beacons of light and hope. And if we enter into a conversation, I don't need to know why you're not getting the vaccine. I need to know, can I take you? Do you need transportation to get to it? Is there a reason that you're a solvable reason that I can assist you in if in fact you want to get the vaccine? So, and if you don't want to get the vaccine, then you and our contact is going to be either null and void or extremely minimal. Now I got a son. I got my oldest son. He's like, I'm waiting until it's fully, approved and all of this. And I said, well, you won't see your mama in person until you do that. Not because, I'm judging him for not getting it, but what I'm saying is that I'm not going to allow myself to become vulnerable to that. So the NFL, I think, made a really great statement today, because the NFL is saying, okay, you know what? You don't have to get vaccinated if you don't want to, but guess what? If you test positive, you're going to either forfeit the game, you're going to have to pay a fine. So there are consequences to your actions. And I think that is the better way to go. Then that removes the judgment from us. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to love you any less if you don't get the vaccination. I just ain't going to see you in person.
Yeah. And I think too that someone who lost his mother.
Yeah.
To COVID.
Yeah.
That I think that it's, people say, well, you take that too personally. No, I really,
you should.
I miss my mom every single day.
Yeah.
And that I just think that people who unfortunately have not been affected by this. I don't know if I had COVID over the holidays last year, but I know it was 2 weeks of hell again when I finally, first of all, is they couldn't get me in for a COVID test in the beginning of the year. But when they finally did, I tested negative. But again, this whole idea of that even people in spiritual circles, and again, the conversations that I've had with individuals, is that again, I go ahead and I say my opinion and I let it go. And that's the way it's been. And again, I don't agree. I don't have to have everyone agree with what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we need, if we are teaching, especially in New Thought, if we're teaching people how to think, not what to think, but how to think, is that there is a logical process that again, if you take a look at the facts about this, is that, but again, the man from Louisiana who's in my prayers, I really want him to get out of that hospital, go back to his family, enjoy his life. I
honestly believe that he was on television for a reason. Now that might just be the impetus by which he needs to get the clarity and understanding of why he's made the choice here. And someone somehow, because of that interview, may convince him. That's my prayer. Right. That he's been convinced now it would be in his best interest.
We have 30 seconds.
Wow. Well, let's end it like this.
Tell them about you and tell them about our new program coming up.
I want to end this one thing. My dear friend and my mentor and the person that I worked for 7 years, Marianne Williamson, said it better than anyone. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Stop causing other people pain, and you will remove the pain from your own life. So I'm really excited about Sunday night masterclass or Sunday evening masterclass, which we're going to be covering all kinds of things from forgiveness, faith, gratitude, love. We're going to talk about the stuff that's going on in your life. We're going to help you realign with that spiritual energy that makes you the being that you are. If your life isn't working, as the kid says in the Best Marigold Hotel, It is, now I forgot how the thing goes. Oh, come on, Charlette. It says, everything will be all right in the end. And if it's not all right, it's not yet the end. So it's always an opportunity for us to grow and flow in the wonderful energy of this life. And you, my brother, we have had some in-depth conversations, and we've gotten down in the muck and the mire. We've talked about race. We've talked about love. We talked about relationships. We've talked about all of that. And I think that's what the family, the human family, is all about. And you opened up by saying that, can we all just get along?
Yeah.
Roger King said it best.
Yeah, we all get along. Reverend Dr. Charlette Manning, get her books on Amazon. Just look her name up. Also, the Sunday evening masterclass is coming soon. We're still in pre-production. We're still working on it. But again, it's going to be a wonderful time that I think that really will start your week off really wonderfully. Charlette, I love you.
I love you right back, and I'm so grateful for you. I am so grateful for you and all that you do. When you call me, I come.
Thank you.
So special. Diego, thank you, Diego, in the background there, making us look good.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Diego's giving me the wrap it up sign. So thank you, Charlette. We will be talking soon, to see you soon here on the New Thought Media Network.
Got it.
Listen, again, for everyone who would like more information about what I'm doing, again, if you go to pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com, I will send you my schedule and all the wonderful things that I'm doing out in the world. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. So, hey, we got to go. Join me tonight at 10:15 Eastern, 8:15 Mountain Time for evening prayer here on the New Thought Media Network. We will see you then. Pastor Michael Mangus, wishing you and knowing for you the best week ever.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.